Cancer, the moon is entering Aries, and she's asking you what seeds do you want to take forward and cultivate into this new moon cycle that we're getting ready to start to here in a couple of days. Cancer, it's an exciting time. Stay tuned to see how you can work with this energy. But before we jump into that, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes and shares. Your support really is just fantastic, Cancer. Motivational, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I'm happy your higher self has brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. And the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, wherever Cancer, Mercury, this one's for you. And I do tarot cards based upon ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going void of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware there, Cancer, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be dope as always, Cancer. Now, before we jump into this thing here, Cancer, I also wanted to make a small little announcement. I'm doing some tweaks on the channel a little bit, and I will I'll make an announcement for this in the community tab as well. But I was actually, we're in Taurus season right now. This is a time we're meant to kind of take it slow, take it easy. And I was actually listening to another astrologer who happens to have their sun in Taurus. And she was mentioning the idea about how there's so much content that is out there right now that it can be very difficult to integrate this stuff. And I was thinking with how often the moon moves, doing this stuff like Monday through Friday, I want us to sync up with the lunar cycle. So what I plan on going forward, whenever the moon enters a new sign, that's when I'm going to release a video. And it'll come out the time that when the moon enters that sign, so that you know that you're synced up with the moon. And that way it'll give you some time to really kind of reflect and integrate this energy and not feel like you have to check in all the time. We're going to take this at Luna's pace. And so hopefully you like this adjustment. I feel like this will be a great way for us to sync up with the lunar energies as well, to really start living this energy and kind of walking in this, feel like we're kind of taking control as opposed to things kind of happening to us all the time there. So hopefully you like this format. I kind of feel really excited about it. We're really excited about it. So I think that's all I got for you, Cancer. Let's jump into it. It's a whole thing, Cancer. And Cancer, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. They're adapting as well, Cancer. Just great. I've been feeling inspired, Cancer. Just great energy all around here. And Cancer, this is a new one. Happy Saturn Day. Saturn rules over Saturdays, big shocker. And it's very interesting when you think about Saturn days, because usually this is when you normally have like your days off and people usually going out and turning up and all this stuff. When Saturn days really are meant to be, they're actually quite the opposite of how they've been presented. Saturn days are a day for getting down to business. This is a time for doing those things that you've been putting off. This is a time for silence. This is a slow type of day. This is Saturn we're talking about. Saturn is the planet that is associated with time, with patience. He's a guardian of both Capricorn and Aquarius. And where he is thinking about the future, Aquarius, he knows that it takes patience and perseverance and discipline in order to get to where you want to be. And so this can be a great energy for meditation. This can be great for talking with elders if that's something that's available to you, whether this is talking with grandparents or someone that you consider in that elderly role, or maybe even a friend that you consider who has some sort of that wise friend that you may have there. So Saturn days, where I'm not saying that you can't get down in Funky Town, this is a time more so this is a more austere type of energy, a more time to kind of crack down again, put those things that you, and also a little sidebar here, Cancer, it's a great time for dealing with land as well. An extra sidebar, I was actually born during the hour of Saturn, so Saturn and I have a pretty close personal relationship there, and he's actually the tightest aspect that's in my chart. So, but yeah, that's something to reflect on with these energies there, and something to play around with. See how these energies, like when you're playing with these kind of planetary days and hours, see how syncing up with these cycles may work for you there, Cancer. And also, Now let's get into the lunar shenanigans because the moon is going to be entering into Aries. Now the moon is going to be entering into Aries at 1:40 p.m. and that'll be Pacific time. And she's going to be in a waning crescent or a balsamic moon. And this is a time where we're in that right in that shadow phase right before we get to that new moon that's going to be happening on the 7th here. We have a few more days till we get up with that. This I feel is a great time when we're dealing with Aries. We're trusting our instincts, we're trusting our gut. And I feel this is a time to really kind of listen to where your body wants to go, to really kind of tune in, because this has been a lot that we've been through. We started off this eclipse and with all that concentration of Aries, but the thing was, when we started off with this, Mars was in Pisces, and so where it did have a lot of oomph, I feel like it was missing that, like it felt like there was a piece that was missing. And now I feel with Mars being domiciled, being in the sign where he's dignified, things are moving. This is a time to feel get not just inspired, I feel like not just visually, but also feeling that inspiration in the body, feeling motivated each day. Getting, I feel like, into a new type of routine there, and just thinking about, what is it that in your gut that you're wanting to get started. Maybe you're wanting to start that new maybe workout routine, or maybe you've been wanting to take that class, or maybe you've been wanting to book that trip, or maybe you're wanting to ask for that promotion or ask that person out. Whatever this is. But this is a time, I feel, to really really ask yourself with Aries, what do I want? Am I, and this is too, when we're thinking about Mars, this is checking in where you have been feeling frustrated, where you've been feeling anger, and what is the cause of that? Because anger is not meant, I feel, to be where, I feel anger happens when we're keeping something repressed, when we're keeping something pent up. And this could be where, Cancer, you need to, maybe if you've been feeling a lot of anger or frustration, create a space to deal with that. Maybe go buy yourself a punching bag, maybe go join maybe a class or something along those lines, something to work with the energies more constructively. I will say, and this isn't medical advice here, Cancer, but one herb that I feel like is like pretty much just like a real strong staple is chamomile. If you steep it for like a long time too, steep it for like 5-10 minutes, get a couple of, if you do like tea bags, or if you have like loose leaf, whatever that's looking like, make sure it's like real dark, and that could be something that can soothe the nerves a little bit, can kind of help kind of relieve some tension, so that you can work with that anger more constructively, and let that anger become aspirations or something along those lines. But this, I feel, is a time to just kind of go within, to maybe, I feel, doing some yoga, maybe doing some kind of Tai Chi. I feel like not necessarily sitting in meditation, but moving in meditation can be something where you may find some inspiration. Maybe going for a nature walk, maybe disconnecting from, the internet a little bit, and just connecting more to the body and just what it really needs, as opposed to maybe what it wants. So, just something I feel that really, like one way I feel like to really work with this energy, because when I've been kind of listening and getting some real kind of intuitive hits here as of late there, Cancer. I got some cool stuff that I'm going to be unveiling here soon. And, this is a time I feel to, again, really just to kind of tune in, because when you're in that flow, man, it's pretty wild, but then, Cancer, and I feel this is something to pay attention to over these next couple of days, because, and I'm starting this format now, by the way. The next time that I'll be releasing a video will be on Moon Day, Monday. It'll be at about 2:42 p.m. But during this period of time, the moon is going to be going void of course on Sunday, the 5th of May, at about 10:57 p.m. And then she'll be moving from, like I was saying, from Aries into Taurus on Monday the 6th at about 2:42 p.m. And the resonance of that void of course is going to be, well, let me start with what the void of course is, and then this next statement will make sense. The void of course energy is when the moon forms her last aspect with a celestial body. And the last conversation that she's going to be having is with Mercury, and she's going to be forming a conjunction with Mercury, who's just had a very busy time in Aries. Mercury's been in Aries for quite a while, and it's been feeling like, we've been wanting to move forward, but it's just like, there's always feels like it's just like there's like a hold up or something. It's like you can like almost, it's something is coming. And I feel that this conjunction with Mercury, pay attention to any sort of ideas that come up, even if you get like a I wonder, oh, I'm thinking of yourself, but if you get an idea of like, I wonder if I were to do this, or I wonder about that, and just really kind of, if you don't do anything with the right then, Cancer, get your phone out, put it in your notepad, get an actual notepad, write stuff down, because sometimes with the void of course energies, because we're getting ready to end a chapter and getting ready to get into a new one, usually things that tend to deal with the emotional, that are stuck in like that emotional or mental plane, they tend to kind of just sort of fizzle out there. The void of course time is a time of nothing, or a time of, I like how they refer to it, and I want to say it was Roman doesn't sound right, but it was referred to as Canadromia, which is roaming the void. And I kind of like this. This is a time where I feel that your intuition is kind of plugged in with the mind. You have like that conjunction energy is a fusion of the two energies, of the two celestial bodies, the moon and Mercury. And I feel that since it's happening in Aries, this is why I'm saying tune into the body, because you could be doing something and then let's say like you just happen to reach for a magazine for some reason. You weren't even thinking. And then you happen to see like, oh, such and such class, or such and such. It just happens to spark a number of ideas. I would say this would be, because this is a pretty lengthy void of course time that we're going to be going through from almost 11 o'clock p.m. till about 2:45 the next day. So this is a lot could potentially come up during this energy. Something that I feel maybe your guides, higher self, however you connect to that bigger part of you, that side of you that's all-knowing, could be leading you down a path that could lead to some really cool rewards there, Cancer. Really get you feeling on your path. So, while we're in this really kind of, as we're transitioning, I feel, to this next lunar cycle here, we're carrying, like, I feel like this, what I was picturing when I was meditating, it's like, we started off with that kind of like a lump of coal, and now it's been compressed and pressured, and now it's like, it's not quite a diamond yet, but the energy's hot. And now it's time to take that and plant it in this new seed, this new soil that is under the guardianship of Venus, and she's in her home. So it's going to be lovely there, Cancer. I'm really excited to talk about that, but we'll get into that more Monday. And Cancer, if you're curious about how these energies are working in your chart more personally, book a reading with me. I have links down in the description box below, and also on my Instagram page as well. And this was something where, for example, where this stuff is going to be taking place in my chart, this is where I'm starting to think about my career. And so that's just one aspect, and it's just like, where do I want to take this? How do I want to advance? How do I want to expand? What am I trying to cultivate in? So I've really been kind of, what I was saying, I've been going for less maybe quantity and more quality in the videos that I want to provide with you now, making them have a bit more cohesiveness to it, provide a bit more kind of practical applications, show you how to interpret a natal chart and how to find the symbols in your chart so that it, so that it doesn't seem so abstract, so that's why I've been kind of investing in that sort of way, looking at different courses, looking at different literature, finding ways to fuse different things, finding different avenues that how do I take the uniqueness that is me, that kind of Capricorn energy, and put that out, get that out in the public. it gets you a cool way to kind of read your personal map. It's almost, I like to think of it as like you and higher self is like exchanging notes. You know, they're giving you like this treasure map. It reminds me of when, yeah, I have a musical background, and it reminds me of like the first time that you went to go to kind of sight read some music. It's a little uncomfortable at first. You want to go at a breakneck speed, but sometimes you got to pause. You got to find the subtleties and see these things. So, and that's how it gets when you start working with your energies. You start knowing when to, oh, maybe this is an energy where I need to pull back a little bit more, or this is one where, oh, maybe I need to push a little bit more. Maybe I need to socialize. Maybe I can try this. And it's not saying that you have to. It just the energies give you an invitation, you know. And I feel like when we can approach it like that, then that does give you feel more of that sense of autonomy, you know. So if that's something that's resonated with you, definitely check that information down in the description box there, Cancer. Now let's go ahead and get into your general energy of the day here, Cancer, because this is basically our card, Cancer. You have the Spirit Guardian of Summer, which is a card of expansion here, Cancer, and absolutely we are getting ready to get in some very expansive energy. Speaking of expansion, towards the end of the month, Big Papa is going to be doing having some really cool conversations here. This is a time to just be alive, you know, to really go with that sense of, I feel like that whatever it is that you've been dreaming of, that you've been thinking, that even if you're not in it, start walking that path. What would my higher self be doing? What does me doing this, what does their everyday look like? You know, oh, maybe I start incorporating, and then you could be thinking about all the things, of course, but it's just like start small, you know, start with the focus, because I feel what could potentially happen, Big Papa's going to be moving into Gemini later this month, and where we could be full of ideas that could potentially lead to overwhelm if we're not focused with Gemini. Take it from me, I have, you know, my moon's in Gemini at the 0 degree, so it's, if I'm not focused, it's all over the place. And luckily, astrology gives me a big enough playground to play in to keep my curiosity peaked, but keeps me within a focus. So and even can help me bring some of the other focuses that I have and even kind of blend them in there. So that's been a beautiful type of thing. So this is where I feel these energies are trying to invite you. How can you incorporate, instead of working this, you know, your obligations around your expansion, how do you work your wait, except for your obligations, you know what I mean, Cancer, we're getting there. But this too, Cancer, you know, the Spirit Guardian of the Summer, that is technically, that gives me, you know, it depends on where you're at in the world as well too, but for where, you know, we're at in the Americas here, the Spirit Guardian of the Summer is the Cancerian frequency. And I feel that this is a time where syncing up with the moon cycle as well is a great way to expand on your emotional wisdom, Cancer. How you operate when there's a waning crescent energy in Aries, and really kind of sit in that for a few days. Allow that to, because sometimes it changes. There are times when it's smooth, and there are other times where there are other factors. And we have to consider too, it's not going to be the same. We can get like a rough idea of it, but the planets are always going to be in different conversations. When the moon goes void of course, when we're waning crescent in Aries next time, she may not be forming a conjunction with Mercury. She may be forming a conjunction with someone completely different, or she may be forming a square, or she may be forming a trine. You know, that's where I feel the moon reminds us too, we have to be adaptable. There's no real kind of one size fits all sort of method. I mean, there is when we're watching these stars, but we have to work at our own ways individually. And that's where Aries comes in. When we're talking about this is the energy of who am I, you know, and Mars is fueling this, he's the dispositor of this energy of where the moon is at. And the dispositor is the planet that is a guardian over the sign that isn't the sign. I promise I'll be able to sentence that here in the Cancer, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Let's expand on this, but you know, let's expand on this, Cancer. Let's get some tarot on this and get some details. because I feel this is a very appropriate energy to a very appropriate mindset to carry into where you want to really kind of focus at going into this next new moon cycle here. And this is a time of being patient with this Taurus energy. You know, we've been getting a lot of that card here, but now the growth is happening here. Now I feel the wait has been, like I think I mentioned in one of the titles, the wait has been worth it. So let's see what's going on here, Cancer. Oh, look at this. All right, Cancer. Take care of yourself. Oh, Cancer, I'm with it. Yup. All right, Cancer. So you have the moon card here, which is Pisces, the sun card, which is the sun. You have the Queen of Wands, the Two of Wands, which is Aries' hottest card, that's Mars and Aries, the Six of Discs, the Five of Discs, and then the Knight of Swords here, Cancer. Now listen, Cancer. With this Five of Disc, I feel that this is a very, this I feel has been the tone, and from the conversations that I've been having, from just even kind of looking at the energies in general, Uranus and Taurus I feel has been a very, it has been a tricky energy, but it's been one I feel has been very helpful because it has kind of brought some things up to light, you know, where it's, the things that we've once valued they've been put up to question because now they don't have that same security that they once provided. And now I feel this Five of Discs can get where, you know, this is Mercury and Taurus, so we're maybe we're worried about maybe material things. We're worried about maybe we don't have enough. We don't have enough to show for it. You know, I feel that Aries at a shadow side can, I feel like it can boast and can be that sort of, not, I feel like bombastic is not quite the word, but that sort of like braggadocious energy, can kind of flaunt its energy, but really like it's all an illusion. What I feel with this moon card here, and this could be something that we're dealing with. You know, maybe we're seeing energies of people portraying, and I feel like this is a pretty common thing on social media where you see people flaunting this, you know, quote unquote abundance, but you know, you don't get to see, we all go through Five of Pentacles where we feel we may not have enough, where we feel we may not worth enough. And I feel that this is remembering here, Cancer, that you're always enough with the Sun card being here, that finding that happiness, it comes within. And I love that the Sun and the Moon are here, you know, not necessarily the High Priestess, but that the Sun and the Moon are here, that considering that they're getting ready to be in a conversation soon. The Moon wants to reflect your light, Cancer. It wants to reflect the Sun. It wants to reflect who you are. But I feel this, with this expansion, you have to know what you're worth with this Five of Discs. You have to believe that you deserve whatever. Then this is what Taurus season is about. You know, knowing that you deserve to feel, you know, to enjoy the luxuries of life. You know, that you have a choice with the Two of Wands here. We could either put our energies towards this state of, oh, I don't have enough, because of course, Cancer, there can always be more. You know, and I feel that can be the trickiness when we're even talking about Big Papa. Because sure, you know, Jupiter's about abundance and luck and things, but you don't think about that excess, you know, because then you get that and then you want more and then you want more and then you want more and then you want more, and then it becomes this vacuum. And then what good is that? I feel with it's just empty knowledge, you know. I feel this the Knight of Swords here, and the Knights are the kings in this deck. This Knight of Swords and this Queen of Wands energy that's coming through. I feel there's this need with the Queen of Wands to leap, Cancer, to start taking, and I don't feel like this has to be anything excessive. You know, just like I was saying before, if you were when we're picturing what you look like in your highest vibration, what does your day to day look like? Because that's how that starts. I feel like that's how, because we all have, when we're thinking about our charts, we all have Virgo somewhere. And that's how I feel energy goes about things. It's like, okay, this is what I want. What do I need to do to get there? I need to do X, Y, and Z, and then execute. And then we have success with the six of disc here. And I like this. But the six of disc here, I feel in order to get that expansion, there's something that we have to put out there first. There's something that, and I feel even for some that, because sometimes I feel where Taurus is a very receptive energy, we don't want to be in a place where we're just receiving all the time. You know, because I feel that we have been, there's a tendency towards just consuming, you know, and it's just like looking at how are you putting back out there, whether that be information that you know, maybe you have a certain skill, maybe you know how to change, maybe you're really great at working with cars, maybe you're great at doing math, you know, are you putting stuff out there as much as you're taking in? And I feel that that could even balance out this expansion as well, because if we're just consuming all the time, we're too full. And we have to think about how the moon does this as well. There's times where she's waxing and she's taking in energy, and then when she's full, she's got to make space because she's got bigger ideas to go to with this next energy. You take what culminates and then grow from that, you know. But I also feel too, one more thing, but just thinking with I just got an image of the Queen of Wands in the Rider White deck. She's usually surrounded by these sunflowers, and sunflowers are always pointing towards the sun, Cancer. And you know, the unique thing I feel about Cancer being the cardinal water sign is that we're initiating based off where we feel. You know, we follow those emotions. We follow with love, you know, with that motherly energy. And you know, I feel that this is the time, Cancer, to really show what the power of, how powerful the moon can be and what that nurturing energy can provide. Mama knows how to build. And so now it's time, I feel, to really kind of show it what's going on, because we're in some really kind of, I feel like really kind of rich, receptive energy with Venus being in Taurus. But I feel like not in just like receiving, but just like in cultivating too, because Venus in Taurus is not just about sitting pretty and being the Empress. The Empress is a hard worker. She's patient. She's building a garden, and she's saving some for herself, and she's saving some to give too. She's trading with others. You know, it's beautiful, Cancer. And that's how I feel these energies are trying to get us all collectively, to get us where we can appreciate the expansion of others as well, you know, because when others are growing, we're growing too. Let's get some more on this, Cancer. I like this so far. All right, Cancer. Think about yourself. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so you have the Five of Wands, the Four of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Five of Swords, the Seven of Cups, and then the Knight of Disc here, Cancer. And I like the Seven of Cups, Cancer, because these are options. You know, this card may seem a little slimy, little grotesque looking, which we are going to talk about that. But the Seven of Cups is usually a card of options, a card of being spoiled for choice. But I feel like be careful about that energy of that spoiled energy. You know, it kind of reminds me of, I remember this, when I think about Venus and Taurus, sometimes I think about this commercial. I think I may have mentioned this before, where it's an old commercial, like Halle Berry was in it, and she's like, I'm picturing her, she's like, do you want to know what makes me feel decadent or something like that? And I was just like, that's an interesting choice of word, decadent, because it's like, you know, when you look that up, we're getting into a state of decay. You know, like it's almost like toothsome or like even like saccharine. You know, it's like but I feel we want to be careful about and not be careful. Let me use better words than that. I feel we want to be mindful about getting inundated by choice, thinking that there are too many options. I feel that for some there's this energy here of picking a direction and sticking with it, being grounded here with the Knight of Discs, just really getting started, being rooted, and because talking about someone being grounded, the Knight of Disc is someone who is rooted in the earth here. And you know what? With the Knight of Disc, I was actually thinking about him earlier today, as a matter of fact. The Knight of Disc, what I really enjoy about him is that you want to talk about, after, like, I feel like the Empress, you would even talk about abundance. Knight of Disc, he's the type that he doesn't worry about money. He doesn't worry about, and what I mean by that, he knows that money's gonna come back. It always comes back. When you can think about it, Cancer, when you need to get something together, you can find a way to get it done. You can always get it figured out. I feel like really where there's a will, there is a way. And the Knight of Disc, I feel like it is coming with that mentality that you got yourself, Cancer. You are divinely guided. Be rooted in that, rooted in sunlight and clarity. With the Knight of, or excuse me, with the Sun card to this Knight of Disc energy, that you can get this stuff completed here, that and celebrate in that, Cancer. I feel with the Four of Wands being here. And listen, Cancer, with this Five of Wands, this Five of Swords, there are going to be people that may criticize this expansion, that may have their doubts, that may project their fears on you. And just because they may not want to do something, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do something. You take what resonates with you, because there may be some good points there. Maybe we don't want to rush. Maybe we do want to think this through with the Eight of Wands being here. We don't want to move too swiftly. But I feel the energy does want to move with the Eight of Wands. But again, there's this focus here, because the Eight of Wands is Mercury in Sagittarius, and Mercury is in detriment in Sagittarius, because we're thinking big, where Mercury wants to kind of focus on the details. And if the concept gets too abstract, Mercury's all over the place. There's too much to roam, too much to play, too much to work through, and he's gonna have a field day. Boy, and see, and then now we're doing a lot. So. And listen, Cancer, this whole thing, I feel when we're thinking about this idea of expansion, when we work with these energies and getting in the flow of ourselves, it can be frustrating, but it's something that I feel we're all working on together here. The Five of Wands, I'm thinking of the Rider White, where it's usually a group of people that are working this out together, that are working our frustrations out. I'm even thinking about the conversations that I've had with other people, and where, yes, there are some tough things, there are some interesting observations that are being made. There is still this sense of hope here, that the sun can still shine bright, that there is this expansion, and there is expansion coming here, Cancer. But I do feel that there are that defeatist mentality, and I feel like that is a collective thing as well as an individual thing. But how we can heal collectively is starting individually, but all this Aries energy. But let's get some advice from Mars. And keep in mind, Cancer, the Seven of Cups is my prelude to a devil moment. So when we're thinking about that expansion, just be mindful about where we can expand. This could be, I'm even getting like an energy of like, be mindful of just like even like stress eating, possibly for some. That's just something that's coming through there. Or even in the other way, when we're stressed and we don't eat. I know I've fallen in that category once or twice, but just something to think about there, Cancer. Alrighty. Thank you, higher self. Last little bit here. I was thinking about. Ooh, interesting. You got a lot of people here, Cancer. A lot of the motley crew here. You got the Knight of Cups, the Princess of Cups, the Prince of Swords, the Ace of Cups, the Three of Wands, and the Five of Cups here, Cancer. And let's switch back over, because I feel with this energy here, Cancer, This Three of Wands, this I feel is the expansion. This is the excitement. This is the sun in Aries, and granted, the sun just moved into Taurus. I feel this is taking that energy from when the sun was in Aries, that thing that lit up your heart, that wonder that when you looked up at the eclipse, and go with that energy of that anything is possible here, Cancer. I feel that when you follow your heart here, it just your cup overflows with the Ace of Cups being here, and I feel there's something here about in following your heart. It's interesting. It's like following your heart just fills you up with more strength here. I feel with the Prince of Cups, or excuse me, with the Knight of Cups, because the Knight of Cups, he's that crab there that represents the strength of the ocean. And that's what this, and that's what I feel honestly is what's happening with the Cancerian frequency, because that's what we're here to learn. Wherever you have the Cancerian, where if you have planets, especially planets and points in Cancer, we're here to learn how to, go with the feelings. How do you initiate with love and keep this love? And it's like when you really think about kind of like that energy with the mother. Sometimes it's you have all this love to give, and sometimes you're not, then she's going and she's not perfect, but it's like, how do you go with love? And then sometimes where the world can backlash you, how do you keep that faith? Because it's the Five of Cups here is giving me, this can be a card of disappointment in this deck. It can be a card of emotional overwhelm. And I feel there's this understanding, this power too of allowing those feelings to be, because with the Prince of Swords, he can be one that can want to just kind of shut his stuff off and just sort of go forward. This is Aquarius energy for me, and where there is a time where we kind of got, okay, I've cried about all I can. I think I'm good there. I'm exhausted. Now let's figure out where I can go from here. Let's clean. Let's shower. Let's just shower. let's not even think that. Let's just shower first, and then go from there. Maybe eat something, hydrate, and I feel like process here with the Prince of Swords. But I feel like that expansion is coming, Cancer, and I feel the Prince of Swords is staying focused on that, but not allowing that to where we're neglecting our needs as well here with the Ace of Cups being here, Cancer, and allowing yourself that emotional space, because the Princess of Cups too, she's one, this I kind of like this is going, because the princesses are the pages, and I think I said the knights are the kings. Oh, and you look at all these, we three kings here. But I like this energy when we're going from the princess to the knight, because I feel like that is that maturity. I feel like that's what is happening here, Cancer. There is this growing in wherever area in life that you're trying to grow. I feel like that is their potential. That potential is happening. So I love this. This is really nice energy here, Cancer. I think I'm going to leave that there. So hopefully something in there resonated with you, Cancer. And if it did, give it a thumbs up there, Cancer. Share this thing, and yeah, share this thing, Cancer, because maybe you know someone who's been having troubles not seeing that bigger picture, maybe been having troubles keeping that faith, because it has been hard. We've been through a lot of energy here over the last month, and it's been it's. And that's where we need to make sure during this Taurus season to allow ourselves to take a break. We deserve it. Kind of kick back and not stress. Yes, I may got bills, I got that, but you know what? I also got some tea that I'm getting ready to have here soon. I also got a book that I'm getting ready to read. I also have this show that I'm getting ready to watch. I have a snack that's at the perfect temperature with my drink. Well, you know what? Indulge, Cancer. I feel like be mindful again, not Seven of Cups. But yeah, Cancer, and then subscribe. Hit that bell button, you moon. You get notified when I release videos each day, each time the moon transfer season, whatever, Cancer. And then last little bit here, Cancer. I'm gonna start doing, now that I've kind of adjusted this time here, it's kind of opened up some new ideas that I'm going to start doing on my other channel, Alchemist 8. But mainly on there right now, I do weekly transits talking about when planets are exact. We're getting outside of the moon now. We're talking about the other celestial bodies. I figure I'd give them some love too. But I'm talking about the transits and aspects that are going on each week and how we can work with those energies. So if that's something, after we get done working with your chart, that Cancer, you become fluent in the language, come on over. And even if you're not, I'm going to start, I have a new format of how I'm going to start presenting this stuff. So hopefully that it is going to be more digestible for you. So definitely check that out. All that info and all that information is down in the description box below. Let me fix that. But let me get you some prize cards in Cancer. Cancer. Cancer, I hope you stuck around to the end. Because here's your fourth night here, Cancer. I'm getting chills. Here's hubby. So with your complete set here, Cancer, expansion's on. I really hope that you stay to the end here, Cancer. Because, oh man, the Knight of Wands has big energy. You talk about expansion, that for me, that's Sagittarius. And I feel that the Knight of Wands, with this big energy here, with this energy here, Cancer, the Knights are wisdom now. This is where, and this is how I've been feeling about Mars since he's moved into Aries. I feel that, let me get your other card here. I feel like this is moving with intention. And this doesn't have to be big, grandiose things, but I do feel like enough small, intentional stuff really adds up quickly, Cancer. It adds up so it's just really kind of tuning in, I feel, to what the body needs. The body has a lot of wisdom. It knows, it remembers everything that you've been through, even if you don't remember. And so this, I feel, is a time. Okay, we get two, Cancer. This is a time, thank you, higher self, for growth. Oh, absolutely, Cancer, to elephant spirit. Learn from the past. And that's interesting, Cancer. You have Empress energy here. You got the third card. But this is the Armadillo spirit, which is the card of set healthy boundaries. And, you got that Five of Swords. And I feel the thing with boundaries, Cancer, it's because that was a big lesson for speaking of Venus, when Venus was in Leo last year, that was a mess. Venus went to town, and that was around the time of my Venus return, and she hit my Venus placement 3 times, and boy did I get some lessons. I was on one, but I learned how to set healthy boundaries though, because I had enough, and it was one of those things. I couldn't be mad at the person if I set a boundary and then let them walk over it. And that's another thing, Cancer. I feel like you have to, maybe you have a high, listen, I have a pretty high, forgiveness palette. It just depends. But now here lately it just depends. And sometimes that healthy boundaries, it's that energy of learning from the past. Like, okay, you keep doing this. And I feel like with all this wisdom of these nights, it's one thing to know something, but if we don't put it into action, then it doesn't mean anything. And I feel like that's something that we could learn, just even as a society, like we forget these paths. I feel like we've set almost these unhealthy boundaries, that we've almost built up a wall from the past, and we think we're so evolved from it. And then you look and we're kind of doing the same old thing. And so, I feel like that's even something too, Cancer. See where there have been, when we're thinking about Venus energy, we are thinking about relationships. And what is your relationship with the past? Maybe you have built up a wall somewhere that has served its purpose, up until maybe now. But maybe now it's become a hindrance. Maybe now it's something that we need to knock this wall down, kind of look around the corner here and see what's going on. I'm even picturing the sun in this other moon deck that I work with, and it has the sun. It's peeping through this brick wall, and so that's what I'm picturing here, Cancer. Expansion is happening, but I feel it's learning from the past and then using, not just setting healthy setting healthy boundaries, but using those boundaries and lessons that we've learned from the past to set a healthy foundation going forward. So I'm with it, Cancer. I like that. So you stay safe out there. I think we covered everything. Or stay mindful, Cancer. Keep your awareness about you, and know that, Cancer, when you come across this video, know that you are synced up with the moon, and I hope that raises your vibration through the roof. I'll catch you on the next one, Cancer. Moon Day on the 6th. I got to work on that ending there. But that was way cooler in my head, I promise.